You are listening to the Life in Attleboro podcast, where we interview the city's most interesting people who are making a positive difference in our community. Hey everyone, I'm the host of the Life in Attleboro podcast, Mike Sullivan. Today's episode is about a kind-hearted group of people on a mission to fight hunger right here in Attleboro. The nonprofit is called Empty Bowls, and there is a very important event coming up in just a couple weeks. My discussion with two of the group's founders actually inspired me to make a donation, and I hope you can help too. So enjoy episode 13 of the Life in Attleboro podcast. Joining me now is Sarah Mott and David Laferriere. They are both with a tremendous nonprofit organization right here in Attleboro. It's called Empty Bowls. And actually, Sarah and David are both founding members of Empty Bowls. So both of you, I'd like to say thank you for all of the work that you are doing for our great community. And thank you for being guests on the Life in Attleboro podcast.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having us.
No problem. First question is for you, Sarah. For people who may not know, just tell us what Empty Bowls is all about.
Certainly. Empty Bowls is a grassroots, community-based fundraising effort that has happened, started in the United States, but now it happens all over the world. And the concept is very simple. We are out to raise money to help feed people in our local community who are struggling from food insecurity. But the unusual part of this is Dave and I are both artists, and usually we have spent time in the past raising money to support the arts. What's interesting about Empty Bowls is the art, as in the people who make the bowls, supports the community instead. So we're using a bunch of local artists who work in clay, who make bowls, and then we have other local artists that join us that help decorate the bowls. And we culminate a year-long effort of making over 600 bowls, all handmade and hand glazed, with a one-day event that people buy their tickets. And it's what's really nice about the ticket thing is that the tickets are $25, so it's relatively accessible for most people. So for $25, you get to pitch in and make a huge difference in our community in terms of helping fight food insecurity. So we have an event, you come to the event, 600 bowls, all handmade, all different, are out on these tables, and you have bought your ticket. So you come in at a timed entry, so it's not a free-for-all. It's not like you're waiting to get into Gillette Stadium. And you peruse the aisles and all the bowls, and people pick the bowl that speaks to them the most. And they're all made with love. And as I said, they're all really beautiful, high-quality bowls. And then on top of that, you get a coupon for a bowl of ice cream, but in the kind of celebration of the traditional soup line, soup kitchen, we serve a wonderful meal of delicious soup provided by the Morin's family, Morin's Hometown Bar and Grill, and Russell Morin Fine Catering. So it actually is this little meal, and the community comes together. They have their beautiful handmade bowls, and they eat together. And while they're there, they learn about the reality of food insecurity in Attleboro, in our little town, that most people really aren't aware of what the need is. And certainly we got more information about that when COVID hit, because a lot more people were feeling the pinch. So that's basically what we do, is we are trying to help on a local level make a difference.
I love it. And Dave, I want to kick it over to you. More about the event. Tell us when this year-long work all comes together on that one day. It's coming up pretty soon. And tell us about some of the community organizations also involved to help pull this off.
Sure. The event itself is on Saturday, September 21st in the Newell Shelter at Capron Park. And it begins at 11 a.m. and it's just incredible. You can go have your soup then, or you take it home with you. But while you're there, we also have a raffle with some other art items, some hot bowls that are made from some national and internationally known ceramic artists, as well as art done by folks like me that are on the bowls. All the proceeds will go to fight food insecurity in the Attleboro area. And you're also able to talk to the people, some of the people that are running the organizations that will benefit from what we raise. So there'll be representatives from the Attleboro Interfaith Collaboratives Food and Friends, the YMCA, Haven Food Pantry, and Murray Unitarian Food Pantry. This event, with all the bowls, it raises a good amount of money, but it raises a lot of awareness. And before all the event is where a lot of our donations are coming in. And I don't know if, Sarah, you want to talk more about the donations and
I
how to?
I would like to talk about that. Every year we have a goal, and this will be our 6th year. Our goal this year is to raise $115,000. The day of the event is really a very small portion of the income of what we are able to collect to hand out. We're fortunate we have a really wonderful army of supporters that are both local and not local. One of the major supporters we have is an anonymous donor that has pledged in the past a matching grant, and it has been $45,000. Now they've raised it to $55,000. So if we can just raise the $55,000, then that gets doubled. But beyond that, we have some really great commitments from some local people that everybody will recognize. The Marcus and Judy Robbins family has been on board since the very beginning with a really nice large gift donation. The Attleboro Rotary, certainly many people recognize them, and they do so much good work in the community. Not only are they funding us, they are our soup team. So you will, if you're there, you'll see familiar faces from the Attleboro Rotary and from businesses around town. Sturdy Health has become one of our sponsors. I'm really pleased about that because fighting food insecurity and being food secure is a major part of being healthy. And I know that Sturdy Health really would like to promote healthy activity and living in our community. So I'm pleased to have them on board. The Attleboro Foundation was new to us last year, and they have been really very kind and cooperative with us. The Larson Tool, a lot of people know that either the Larsons or the Cedarbergs in town. They've old family fixtures who have done a lot of good on their own. So their foundation has been supporting not only with money, they always have kind words, and their enthusiasm is great. And then, of course, the Morin's family, both the diner, the hometown bar and grill, and Russell Morin Fine Catering. The first year I went to them, and I'm stumbling over this concept, which was a little esoteric. They just stood literally across the table from me. They just smiled. They said, yes, this is great, whatever you need. And so every year, when we challenge them, because every year our numbers have grown. And this year especially, Billy and John, as everybody knows, Morin's right now is undergoing a major renovation. As it turns out, the kitchen is closed for empty bowls. The commissary at Russell Morin Catering is really helping them kick in, and the new kitchen at the Sweet House run by the Attleboro Y and their senior meal program, it's a juggling act. So the soup will be running through the center of town down to the Newell Shelter. So that's been good. But beyond those major sponsors, like I said at the beginning, for $25, you may not think that $25 would make a huge difference, but it's $50. And when, double everybody that comes through the door, you can feel pretty good about making a difference and going home with a bowl that reminds you of all those people who have empty bowls. And beyond the people that I just mentioned, and it would take me a long time to go through everybody, and I apologize if you're listening and I'm not saying your name, you're all hugely important. And if you go onto the site that Dave has worked for us, everybody's name is there. And as far as I'm concerned, if you give us $1 or if you give us $55,000, you're a major player. You're on our team. This is good, and we're making Attleboro a better place.
I love it. So it sounds obviously it is a huge community effort. Some of the great organizations in the city helping one another out to help pull this off on September 21st. If I was good at pottery and making bowls, could I be a volunteer and do that too? So do you accept anyone who's got that talent? I don't, but anyone who has that artistic ability? Or how does that part work?
It's interesting, Mike. So the very first year, we did have some group glaze nights, and it was a celebratory night of pandemonium. And it worked pretty well, but we're at the point where we are trying to figure out how to bring more people into the mix. So in order to do that, if you're an artist, we invite people to come in, and they can decorate the outside of the bowls. Because obviously being able to sit down and throw a bowl takes a lot of commitment and dedication and time. I'll speak about that in just a second because that's an important part of what we're moving to do. And we have had people who have absolutely no experience. Dave brings his family in. I've got family friends who come in. So we try to work that out through the year. We're at the end of this year, but if you're interested next year, you can always reach out. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and see where we are with that. My shop is tiny. Dave will tell you, It's like a little elf workshop and it's crammed full. But yet somehow, like last week, I think we had 8 people in there working in this little tiny space. But it is inspiring. So to go back to the other thing that we're doing, we're trying to introduce this year, doing a program that might help us continue Empty Bowls through years to come, even though we may time out or need a break, or it's always good to bring the next generation in.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of writing some grants, and we have a person who's extremely professional and talented at teaching people how to throw. And then we actually will put out a call because we're looking for a couple people who will show some real intense dedication. And by dedication, it's like once or twice or 3 times a week.
Oh, wow.
To come in, and for free, you'll get to learn how to throw, but you'll have to give us bowls. We've already there are 2 people who have come in over the last 6 years and really joined the team cold. One of them was a friend of ours, Ian, who just moved away, who pretty much taught himself how to throw in a year. Wow. And now can outthrow most all of us. And then another is a friend of mine, Sarah, who had thrown in college, hadn't done it, and then came back this year, and she's like killing it at the studio. She's got some greats. Every time I open the kiln, it's like, who knew? So yes, we're hoping that can work. Yeah.
I just learned a new term too, throw a bowl. That's cool. That's an art.
Throw a bowl.
When
the bowls are really ugly, Mike, we had one member who would definitely throw the bowl to break it so nobody could take it home because they didn't like it.
I love it.
The bowls themselves generate a small amount of the money that we have, and the rest of it is all sponsorships and donations by individuals and companies across the Attleboro area. And it's incredible how they all come out to support such a cause, because it's feeding people. And we're not doing it around a holiday. We're doing it, well, before winter comes, but it's still to raise this awareness that it's not going away. Everyone still needs help. So we've been doing this since 2019. So this was our 5th year doing it at that last year. And that brought us to over $500,000 over those 5 years of being able to just go right into the community, right where it needs to be done to help people. And it is incredible. All the 4 organizations that the Attleboro Y, the Food and Friends, Heathen Food Pantry, Murray Unitarian Universalist Food Pantry, they're all boots on the ground. They see these people week in and week out, and all kinds of people with lots of stories to tell. And we're just glad that we can help out and
it's inspiring.
It really is. It
easy,
really is. And September 21st, this year's event, I understand, has a very special meaning behind it, dedication behind it as well.
It does, Mike, and thank you, because that was on my mind right now. When we started 6 years ago, I was working very closely with another potter in town who a lot of people knew either through her pottery or her plant sale or her volunteer work at the YMCA or at the Art Museum. And her name is Sally Cobb. And she was a force in terms of her passion for helping out this community. Even though she wasn't from Attleboro, she just felt so welcomed here and made so many connections and always spoke very highly of everything that Attleboro stood for and what the business leaders did, what the Y does. And so when we decided we wanted to start Empty Bowls, she was really instrumental on beating the bushes. She was a board member at the Attleboro Norton Y at the time. So she knew everybody. If you met Sally, you knew Sally. She was a big personality. And so she really injected the whole first year with so much excitement and enthusiasm and a little bit of drama when everybody loved her bowls that it lifted off the ground almost by itself. It was a huge success. And unfortunately, we lost Sally very unexpectedly this spring. And it's been hard in the studio as we get together because she definitely had her will invested in making this work and her strong opinions that really made things come together and probably brought it up a notch from where we might have been. But certainly she spawned a lot of intense discussion. And this year we're dedicating the whole year, our fundraising, in memory of Sally. So this event especially will have a little memory board with Sally's pictures and some of her work, and people could write some of their thoughts there. And in that keeping, little story I have to say is that when we did our first event, Sally was adamant that this was very serious, important work, which it is. And she wasn't sure she wanted the event, I don't want to say to be that much fun, but to stray away from how important and serious our message is. So we went through the first event, and we did have music, and we did have a lot of local celebrities serving soup. But as soon as she saw everybody get in that room together, and it was a huge success. We had no idea what we were doing. We had 70 volunteers. There were no timed entries. We did have lines like getting into Gillette Stadium at the Attleboro YMCA, and people came in and they were all trying to pick their bowls. And but all the families were there. Everybody's spirits were really high. Every year, we're so fortunate we have the Solberg family provide the music. That's their donation to us. And if you've ever listened to the Solbergs, they're hugely talented local legends, I say. And it turned into a party. And so when you come to the Newell Shelter, even though it's outside and it's not everybody's there at the same time, it really is fun. The music's playing. It's like when you go to vote, you see your neighbors one time a year. If it's a beautiful day, it's great. But last year was our first rainy day, and we all were freaking out like, oh no, it's pouring. People lingered. They ate their soup there. They hung around. They bought more things from our studio sale table, decided it was time to Christmas shop, took more chances on the raffles, just put their money in the donation box. So Sally was really pleased about that. So she turned her thinking a little bit, saying, yes, this is very serious, but if we can have a good time by bringing people in and celebrating what they're doing to make a difference, then okay. Well, she gives. That's okay. That's good.
That. She sounds like she leaves behind quite the legacy and one to carry on for sure.
Oh, she does. She does.
Getting behind fighting against hunger is something I think most of us are easily behind. You have inspired me both to make a donation. And how can I do that, Dave? What do I need to do to make a donation to Empty Bowls?
On the homepage, there will be two buttons on there. And one of them is to donate today, and the other one is for the 2024 tickets. So you can go get the tickets, which is for the event, and you'll get a bowl that's made by a local artisan, and to pick up at this event only, again, September 21st. And then if you want to donate, you can always, there is a donation button on there also to donate more and tax deductible, by the way. So it's if yourself or a business, anyone, we say donation, we say sponsor, because it's both. You're just helping out with that. And again, up to $55,000 is going to be matched.
Sounds easy enough. EmptyBowlsAttleboro.com. There's a button right there up top on
Correct.
The homepage. All right, will do. Sarah, anything else that you would like people to know about Empty Bowls or what's happening on Saturday, September 21st?
A couple things. First of all, you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. As Dave said, right now we're starting to post a lot of pictures of things as they come hot out of the kilns. So that's exciting. If you want to get your ticket and be sure, our tickets in the past have sold out. So if you want to be sure that you're going to get your bowl, go onto the website and sign up, and it will give you some opportunity to pick your time slot you can come. I think the first 2 time slots are sold out right now. Feel free to bring your friends, but please know that it is an event that really can help make you feel good about what you can do on a very small level. In this day and age, it seems like there are so many big problems that are insurmountable. You will go away making a difference and hopefully feel better about it and have a good time while you're doing it and get something really beautiful.
Yeah, it is such a big issue, and perhaps some of our listeners will benefit from this effort. So I appreciate both of you taking the time to share the word and do good work in our community and city. So Sarah and Dave, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys being on the Life in Attleboro podcast.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks for doing this.
My pleasure. I really hope you enjoyed our conversation with Sarah and Dave. What a great cause and a great event. Again, the 2024 Bowl Pickout and Picnic Day is happening Saturday, September 21st from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Newell Shelter at Capron Park. Tickets are $25, and I'll include a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you. I hope to see you out there. Also, can you do me a favor? If you're enjoying the Life in Attleboro podcast, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. I'd really appreciate it. Also, make sure you're signed up for our email list. That's where you're going to get exclusive benefits, including early access to every new podcast episode, special savings at Attleboro restaurants and businesses, and you'll stay in the know about cool events in our great city. Just go to lifeinattleboro.com and you'll see the sign-up display right there on our homepage. And if you know someone who would make a great guest on our podcast, please shoot us an email at lifeinattleboro@gmail.com. That's it for today. Life in Attleboro is a great thing. Support our community, promote positivity, and make a stranger smile. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Life in Attleboro podcast.